Welcome back. So, of course, Jacob Zuma is on his way to prison. He's in the custody of the South African Police Service, and he will spend the morning behind bars when he eventually gets there. Oliver Dickson, a political commentator, joining us now live. So, Oliver, the day has come, or the morning has come, I should say. Jacob Zuma will eventually be behind bars. And you heard that very heated debate between JJ Tabane and Mzwanele Mani about the merits of this case and why he believes Jacob Zuma should not be behind bars. Lots of people would rubbish that argument because of the independence of the judiciary and how this decision was made.
Yeah, absolutely. But before I get into that, I just want to make one observation. The entire week, we were held hostage by Jacob Zuma sympathizers telling us that people will be killing each other, that there will be a second Marikana, re-inscribing the imagery of Marikana back into society in such a vicious and callous way that we have to shun upon it, right? But they've been telling us that all week, yet Jacob Zuma is about to be in prison, spending the rest of the night there, and not a single drop of blood has been shed. Edward Zuma still at the gate carrying a stick and still waiting for the clock to untick. None of the doomsday imagery that we were promised has taken place. And that's just an important observation I just wanted to make. But the debate between JJ and Mzwanele Mani was fascinating for two reasons. One, that one was placed in reality and the other was not, right? Mzwanele Mani made all these arguments discrediting all these witnesses that appeared before the commission, telling us why their evidence was not good enough. Well, that's exactly what Jacob Zuma should have gone and done before the commission, except he chose not to. The commission wrote Jacob Zuma 26 letters of evidence implicating him, asking him to respond to it, and he responded to none of it. More than that, Mzwanele Mani tells us that there's something wrong with the way the commission was set up. This is not a new argument. Jacob Zuma made it in his court papers earlier this week. You know what's fascinating about that? Jacob Zuma in his court paper says that the commission was assembled unconstitutionally. The fascinating part there is that it means he himself, Jacob Zuma, acted against the Constitution, as so he believes, when he constituted the Commission of Inquiry, when he put his presidential signature that made that commission come into existence. That means he again broke the law, so to speak, right? And so he's incriminating himself. Jacob Zuma's legal strategy has been underpinned by contradiction, really, because it can't be the case that you tell us, I am not in contempt of court, but hold on, I got bad legal advice. It's either you got bad legal advice and therefore you are in contempt of court, or you didn't get bad legal advice and you just denied you denied the court to be able to fully exercise the duty of the court, right? And be a party to that. So both those things can't exist at the same time. Again, one is in reality and one is in fiction.
Yeah, so let's talk about the reality of people waking up to the former president of a country, South Africa, being in jail. And, you know, this is going to be something that will have people feeling all sorts of ways, which we spoke about earlier. But this news of Jacob Zuma waking up in prison, you know, possibly being given prison food, is something that we never thought would have happened because of all of the maneuvers put in place over the past decade and even more for him trying to avoid this very moment, him being in a jail cell.
Look, the prison facility that Jacob Zuma is going to is not all that terrible, right? It is not the worst prisons documentaries that we've been seeing over these years. In fact, he's going to an escort facility, which, you know, cost 357 million to put together. It cost almost as much as Nkandla, really. And it's a facility that was designed specifically for special needs prisoners. That is to say, prisoners that are elderly, where that is taken into consideration. Prisoners that are not of good health, where that is taken into consideration. So Jacob Zuma is not going to sleep on a Robben Island floor with barely a blanket and a bucket next to him to use as a pit latrine. No, he will be in a facility that will treat him humanely. Civil rights activists in this country have fought for a very long time and continue to do so for prisons to be humane institutions. Jacob Zuma is not going to be treated without respect for his humanity. He certainly will be. He certainly will have access to the medical health care that he requires, given that he tells us that he's of ill health, and he certainly will be fed decent food, right? It will be against the values of the Constitution for him not to receive any such treatment.
Yeah. All right, Oliver Dickson, thank you so much for your time. We will probably speak to you again until